it's Mary Baca with the Remotely Unique podcast show. And today I'm going to talk to you about changing your vibration to change your emotions and general physical and emotional and mental health as well, using a modality called sound healing. I'm a certified sound healer, and it is one of the modalities that I use quite a bit with clients that come in to get energy work done. It's also a modality that I've interwoven into other holistic modalities that I've created, like quantum alignment, and a one that's up and coming called sound dissonance desensitization and resonance therapy. That sounds a lot like a therapeutic term, but I'll talk more about that later. So sound healing or sound therapy, it's an effective holistic modality where a practitioner will use some form of music or sound to improve the overall health of a person. When somebody comes in for a holistic treatment, the overall goal is to help them reach their optimal level of health. That can be addressing issues like insomnia, if the person has difficulty sleeping, or even addressing depression and anxiety. And that is absolutely one of the things that makes my counseling agency called Odyssey Counseling different from others, is that we implement a lot of these holistic modalities into a person's treatment plan to assist them with addressing their emotional issues. So our body is all connected, and if you do something to improve a person's emotions, it is going to positively impact a person physically as well. Same is true if you do something negatively to impact a person's emotions. That's going to have an impact on their body. And when I'm doing energy work on people, I can really feel that in their energetic field. We all have an energy field around our body. It's not something most people can see. Some people can see auras. That's not a gift that I have. But I have people on my team who can see auras, like Letitia Montoya. She is a quantum alignment practitioner that I've trained, and she's taking other trainings as well. She's a first responder specialist, and she can see auras, and that's pretty amazing. But sound healing, it improves a person's mood, and by improving a person's mood, it can be used to address mental, physical, emotional, and even spiritual health. This modality, it can be done with a person sitting and doing meditation. It can be done with the person lying down or actively engaged. I have started training children to do sound healing, and I have a client, I put pictures of us working, doing sound healing on Facebook, and anyway, she's just an amazing little healer already, and she's 12 and getting started in learning how to do this. But the way that sound healing works is the sound interacts with your brain waves, and brain waves are the electrical activity that occur in our brain. Well, the sounds that are used during sound healing, they interact with the brain waves, and they also send waves throughout your body in order to create balance and harmony in your vibration. And one of the things most people have never even thought about is that everything and everyone has frequency and vibration. If you looked at a table under a microscope, you would see the atoms that compose that table moving around. And the movement is to a certain frequency. I actually teach a whole class for continuing education credits to counselors and social workers that I'll be offering in April, called Changing Your Vibration by Changing Your Emotions by Changing Your Vibration. But I'm also going to start offering that same workshop to just people from the community. So if you're interested, be sure and get a hold of me. Sign up for our newsletter, actually, and that way you can get on our list of different events and classes and things like that we have. But anyways, back to frequency and vibration, you can feel it in your body when you're around a person that's positive versus negative, right? A lot of times we don't pay attention to how our body feels in those situations, but just try tuning into this today and watch the different states of being, your physical being, and feeling it in your body as your body goes through the different stages that it goes through while you go through your day to day. Notice how it feels when you're around certain people, situations, environments, and that kind of thing. It'll blow you away, really. And the thing is that the lower the frequency is in your body, the more prone you are to illness, whether it's physical, emotional, and most likely both. This is why I really like to address the whole issue of vibration and frequency with people, because you really can promote a lot of health and well-being in your own self. And I love to empower people. I teach people how to do these things, clients how to do these things if they're interested, because it absolutely is a way for them to work on themselves even at home. So in 2019, I created and managed a study in conjunction with my holistic training team and practitioners and my clinicians, and did a study called Fostering Stress Resilience in First Responders Using a Holistic Approach. And one of the modalities that they could choose from, because they did have a selection, was sound healing. And I remember one police officer in particular, after we did sound healing, she said that night, she texted me the next morning and said that she had not slept like that in the 13 years since she had become a cop. So when I legitimize sound healing as a modality, it's from research that's done that you can read online, but it's also from what I see and hear from clients and different people that I use sound healing on. So one of the things with sound healing is the practitioner uses sounds, vibrations, and frequencies to assist you in obtaining optimal mental, physical, and emotional health, like I mentioned. Some of the instruments I have that I use regularly are a gong, crystal glass singing bowls, crystal glass singing triangles, which are my favorite, buffalo drum, an ocean drum, energy tuning forks, body tuning forks, and actually my voice. And no, I'm not going on, The Voice anytime soon, but we actually can use our voice to create the Om sound. And the vibration of Om is actually believed to have a vibration and frequency that connects us to the universe. So just try it today. In fact, let's try it right now. And just chanting the word Om for 3 times. And notice how your body feels before and how you feel after. You can do it for longer than 3 times. You could do it for a minute or however long you want to do it, but 3 times is a good place to start. Chanting Om can even relax your stomach muscles. So say, for example, if you have digestive issues, which often is connected to stress, chanting Om can assist with these issues. And this also helps us experience taking a deep breath in and releasing it through our body. I promise you'll feel anywhere from a slight release to really super noticeable. The other cool thing you can do is you can set an intention when you're sitting and chanting Om. You can set the intention for peace and well-being. You could set the intention for something you're trying to release. And as you inhale and then exhale, and you let Om flow out of your body, you can just focus on letting go of whatever it is you're trying to release. So I'm going to start now. I'm going to do it 3 times. I'm going to take a big deep breath in, and as I release, I'm going to start to make the sound Om. Okay, here goes. And there you go. I know I did it earlier this morning and I really did feel just kind of like a little uplifted. So try that. I would encourage you. I want you to feel like there is something on a very basic level where you can do sound therapy on yourself. So one of the other things as a trauma therapist and trauma informed and specialist in holistic healthcare that I talk about is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where our fight or flight or freeze process happens. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this process, in normal situations when we're stressed or we're going through our day, or at even more extreme levels when that stress intensifies or even becomes traumatic stress, this is the part of our body that kicks into motion. One of the pieces of work that I do with a lot of people, especially first responders and healthcare workers or child protection workers, all these people that are involved in jobs that are very, very, very stressful, one of the pieces of work I do is to help them balance their adrenals, to check and see if there's an imbalance and then help them do that. And that is also what gets activated when this system goes into action. If it's occasionally that the body goes into this intense stress reaction, then our body knows how to recover pretty quickly. But if you're in an occupation where you're exposed to high levels of stress routinely, even if you're not a first responder, then this part of your body and the autonomic nervous system get activated, and that's where then a lot of times people get adrenal fatigue, which the big symptoms are fatigue, of course, but also anxiety and depression, believe it or not. So unless every moment of your life has been great, which I don't know anybody that fits that bill, you have trapped emotion in your body. And sound healing is a phenomenal and powerful way to help release this trapped emotion from your body. Next week, because this is going to be a 2-part series, I'm going to talk more specifically about the different hertzes and frequencies and what that even means in terms of specific things that can be addressed. And with frequency and vibration therapy or sound therapy or sound healing, they all are the same thing. You can fall asleep to frequency music or listen to it in the background. Every night, because I have had sleep issues historically, so I started this, I guess about a year ago. I'll put on frequency music and I sleep like a baby, truly, truly. And if that music goes off in the middle of the night, it'll wake me up. And I just reach over and I restart it. But you can on YouTube find frequency music, and you can find some that's like 10 hours long, which is nice because then that's not gonna turn off in the middle of the night. Things that can be treated with vibration and frequency therapy are insomnia, anxiety, depression, even self-esteem, manifestation, so law of attraction stuff, abundance, and just achieving a general feeling of peace and well-being. The thing is, you don't have to be struggling to benefit from sound healing. You don't have to have something wrong with you in order to, seek counseling, and the same goes for all these holistic modalities. In fact, the more proactive you can be, the better, right? If you address your health before you have any complications of any kind, or the sooner the better, you're going to see a lot more benefit quickly. But sound healing, I have to tell you, after a session, it's not uncommon. I would say 99% of the time people remark about their sleep and how they felt so relaxed. I had another police officer that I did quantum alignment on recently, and she texted me the next morning and said she hadn't slept that good and felt that relaxed. And the really cool thing too is you can do sound healing distantly. So I can actually work on people anywhere. And I know that may be difficult for some of you to imagine, but it really is true. the only thing that separates us is physical, right? In other words, like we can't be in the same room if we're in two different states. But energy is limitless. Energy can travel. It does travel, truly. I'm sure that you have felt, for example, you'll be thinking about your best friend or your loved one, and you can feel them like if they're there. And that's because their energy is with you. When we think about someone, we are calling their energy to us, which can be positive and negative. And I do plenty of that work with people too, in terms of how to clear and shield and protect, and that'll be a subject for another podcast. But anyway, so you definitely can use it for all kinds of things. And I'm in the process of developing, like I mentioned earlier, a holistic modality called sound dissonance desensitization and resonance therapy. One of the things with sound, like any of our senses, oftentimes people have a negative reaction to certain sounds because those sounds have been conditioned to have these reactions in the body. So for example, if you get in a car accident and while you're waiting in your car to be taken care of, you hear sirens with the paramedics and EMTs that are coming to help you, you might, after that day, associate that sound of sirens with the pain that your body was in, with the fear that you were feeling, things like that. That is really, really common. That is just a normal way that our brain learns and gets conditioned with things. So with this in mind, I am starting a pilot program in probably April or May to work on developing and expanding and really getting this modality going. And anytime I create a modality, I do a pilot program because I want to see it actually in motion. And so I'll just take volunteers and work on people to get a modality going and to really learn from it, and then refine it to the point where then I'm ready to release it and start training people. That's what I did with quantum alignment. Is I actually had volunteers and worked on that quite a bit before then I started to train and certify practitioners. Another modality that I've created is called Trauma, and that's moving trauma out of the body. It's a deeper level of work than quantum alignment, and it's targeted usually toward one specific area in the body that gets worked on. But anyway, so I will be asking for volunteers for the sound dissonance, desensitization, and resonance therapy. I'll be coming up with a name instead of that kind of description probably soon here. And so if you're interested in volunteering for that pilot program or any others that I'll be doing in the future, it would be really good to sign up for our newsletter. You can sign up at remotely-unique.com or at shifting-perspectives.com. That's our training website. You can sign up there, and that way I can know that you're interested, or even just interested in some of the events that we do. Included in the pilot program will be first responders, healthcare workers, child and adult protection workers, and other individuals in highly stressful and traumatic occupations, but I'm not limiting it to that. I've dedicated a lot of my life work for the past 10 years working with first responders, and I've enjoyed it. I still enjoy it to this day. Some people, though, think that that's the only populations I work with, and that's just not true at all. I work with the community, and especially when it comes to holistic things, I definitely see people from all walks of life and all ages, clearly, because I've started to train, like I said earlier, children how to do sound healing. What I hope to accomplish with the sound dissonance desensitization therapy is for the person to not have the same negative reaction to sounds after going through this treatment. And again, if you're interested, get a hold of me. You can even text me at 505-315-7397. Another exciting announcement I want to share with you all is that I'll be opening a sound bar soon for our clients here at Odyssey Counseling in April. So excited to do that. So our clients who come in, even say parents that come in and they're waiting for their kids, they can go into the sound bar and listen to frequency and vibration music, and they will fall asleep in the chair. I guarantee you, it is so relaxing. But also, even more pointed than that, I'll be training my clinical team and my holistic teams and other counselors and social workers how to integrate this method of healing into a client's counseling in some very specific ways. And when I'm able to finally find a building for the Shifting Perspectives Training Institute, we'll have a sound bar there also. So yeah, I've had a couple of buildings fall through, but it's okay because the right building is out there, and stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we have a 6,500 square foot building and plenty of room to work with and do all these things that I want to get done. And my team is really excited to be part of it. I have amazing counselors, truly. They are, I'm impressed by them every day. And my holistic team is pretty awesome also. Couldn't do any of this without them. So that's my first part of the sound healing and therapy podcasts, changing your vibration to change your emotions. Part 2 will be next Monday. All right, I will talk to you then. And soon I also will be having guest speakers, so stay tuned for that. Have a wonderful day.